A new Optifine version is available. Hello everybody and welcome to the Netherblock, the show where we build a 64 by 64 by 64 block of netherrack in Minecraft.
I'm Tony Southcott.
I'm Komette.
I'm Joe.
I'm Al, and we are brought to you by our featured patron this week, Alor7686?
Alor 20A6.
20A6, there we go.
That sounds like a type
Patron
of shoe.
people with like weird numbers in their names.
Yeah. It's like...
Komette, what are you whispering about?
We're being sneaky. Shh.
Wait, I can do a thing.
Oh.
Okay.
3.
We need... Wait, I have to look this up. I already forgot it.
Alright, I'm gonna need you guys to get a D20 and roll a stealth check.
Are you down here too?
No, I can feel you sneaking.
We're sneaking.
My perception is high.
D20, or am I not on? I'm not in that.
I mean, if you want to be sneaking, you could roll and like add your dexterity.
I need some iron. I'm completely out, and it's embarrassing.
What would be your class in real life, Al?
Okay, 20 by 20 area.
What are the what
20 blocks or 20
what classes
blocks?
are available to me?
Just the
cleared?
standard D&D ones.
Yes.
No, I know, but it's been a
I'll
while
go
since I
20
played, so I
over
don't
this
remember.
way.
Just you'd probably still be a bard, I would think, out of all the things.
Okay, so that's the. I wasn't even sure. Remember which one was like class and which one was
Yeah, like bard,
like
rogue.
occupation. There seems like there's some different things in D&D.
That or you'd just be a dirty
There's
commoner.
class, race,
Yeah.
occupation.
Commoners only have 1 HP. It's kind of sad.
Is
does
that a
make
class
sense,
you can
though.
play as? A commoner?
You can kind of roll as like a base level human. Yeah, in
Okay.
the other versions of D&D, like 3.5 and everything, humans were just terrible. They had the worst racial bonuses. They actually had active detriment to everything. So if you wanted to play as a human, you had like negatives on every roll.
Is that designed by an elf?
Probably. Some dirty commie elves in their perfect society and perfect hair.
Stupid.
Growing their stupid bows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Stupid growing their
Wave
ducklets.
radios.
There's a lot of coal here.
Oh, man.
And also always be warm for some reason.
Yeah, whatever that means. What
Griffin
elf?
fixed my portal, but he fixed it in the wrong direction, I feel.
Fixed it in the wrong direction.
Somebody's got to post this to Choosing Beggars. Which is one of the most entertaining subreddits.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one quite a bit. I was in, what was it today? Ask Reddit, I think, today. Had the question, you know, based on the Spider-Man rules, what would be the best thing to be bitten, best radioactive thing to be bitten by?
Oh god.
Godzilla.
That's, well,
I mean,
would
he
you
is
survive
radioactive.
that?
Oh. I have to go get a new pickaxe.
He doesn't bite that many people is the weird thing.
No? But he just stomps around,
would-
right?
Yeah, so like, we don't have that much good data on whether you could survive being bitten by Godzilla.
A human is like the size of a...
Ah,
Probably smaller than a Tic Tac, like with the new Godzilla. Like,
Yeah,
it would
that's
hardly
something,
parse.
I know
It's
I've
not
said
even
this
like...
before, but I really would love to see, like, someone scaling Godzilla.
That would be
Because you
pretty
could
cool.
totally just get on his back, and what's he gonna do about it? He's got a T-Rex arm, he's not gonna swipe you off.
That or he's gonna like
Shake ya.
supercharge and like fire his thing, and, like his scales get super hot when he does it, and melt you.
or just his movement. I don't know if he would just be so fast just because of how much is moving.
Yeah, like him.
Like one step for him
It
in a
depends
second is
on-
like...
Yeah, I guess it depends on which iteration of Godzilla we're talking about, too, because, like, at the end of the new trailer, he is booking it towards King Ghidorah to the point where I was on board with a lot of people who are like, is this real, or are they, like... I mean, okay, it's not real. I'm very clear that Godzilla's not real,
Alright.
unfortunately.
Step back.
But, like, whether it was actually going to be like that in the movie, or whether they sped it up just for the trailer.
Well,
I
I mean, he should be able to run, right? The rubber suit
Why
is
would
just...
he be able to run?
Why wouldn't he be able to run?
He's 400 feet tall. He
Yeah,
shouldn't
and
be
why
able
would
to
so?
exist.
Why would
I
Ghidorah be
agree
able to
with that.
fly? Like, think about how heavy he must be, unless he's got like bird bones, in which Godzilla would just snap his heads off.
I agree with all of this.
Yes, but I'm
Which
saying, like,
reality
it's,
are we going with? I mean, I think if he can exist, he should be able to run.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I
It
think
makes for
so.
much more dramatic fights.
the weight of the thing should come into play, even if it's not actually physically possible. Like, the fact that he's that big should limit him.
If he can move his body, then he should be able to... If he can move his body slowly, he should be able to move it fast. Like, if he has control over his muscle speeds,
There's
then...
plenty of animals that can't. Why, like... I don't
what?
understand what your problem
Yeah, but a
here
turtle is not an apex predator that has to hunt things.
Ooh.
Agreed. Turtle has a shell. Like, what else? What else you got that doesn't run?
anything. Like, what?
What do you mean anything?
Yeah, you gotta give us some.
I mean, it has like
Nothing
2
runs.
speeds.
Yeah, but there's like real slow and then kinda slow.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you should
Godzilla.
Like an elephant?
yeah, elephants
can go
get
fast.
booking it.
Elephant can haul butt. Yeah.
Yeah, like think about a hippo. Hippos are shaped.
Hippos
they look
can
like they're
fly.
not for speed, and for short bursts, they'll go over 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, all large animals I can think of can move pretty quickly, outside of the sloth, which is a meme.
Yeah, but the sloth is
Rhinos.
also like the fastest finisher in sex in the entire animal kingdom.
There
So
you
it's
Ooh.
like it has
Speedy
a
in other
faster
ways.
movement way. Yeah, a sloth is just disappointment personified in an animal, really.
It's my spirit animal.
They have a giant sloth in
Patronus.
Fallout 76 that can move real fast.
Yeah, I heard there was like a mutated sloth, but I haven't seen one yet.
You all keep finding things in this game, and no one's ever talking about all the interest. It's always just like, oh, well, we've had this conversation this morning, I guess, but it kind of irritates me.
Did
they
you
handle
not
it
go
so poorly.
20
It
out?
actually seems to have a lot of interesting stuff.
It's an
We
interesting
do what
game.
with what?
Did you do the outline? I just did the outline.
I'm even to
Yeah.
the point where like
Okay.
I know that they don't have human NPCs, but I'm sort of connecting with some of the robots. Like after you've
I
spent
think
like
it's very
5
funny.
hours with them.
Al connecting with a robot is the least surprising thing I might have ever heard
Yeah.
in my entire life.
I also think it's really funny how he's like, no, Godzilla can't run, but Fallout Sloth totally can run. He's like, that's fine. I
The
totally
sloth
believe
is
in
not
that
like
one.
hardly bigger than you are. It's like the size of a gorilla. Godzilla is like 20 stories tall.
Yeah,
If
but
he
it's
can
a
move his
sloth.
muscles, he should be able to run. Like, I don't. What's your argument that he can't run? Because then he can't stand. Almost whatever your argument is for him not being able to run.
Verisimilitude
What?
is my argument.
Well, then he can't hold himself up.
I didn't say accuracy, I said verisimilitude.
What does that mean?
It means like the truth, but not the truth.
Yes, and lots of. I mean, we've covered rhinos,
Near
hippos,
truth.
elephants.
He's not a rhino, a hippo, or an elephant.
Yeah, but large
He's even
animals
bigger.
clearly.
Like, I feel like kimono dragons
We don't
are
have
the
any large
largest
animals
lizards,
like Godzilla
and they can still
to
run.
draw from, like in
Exactly.
real life.
So why are you talking like you're such an expert?
He's getting super offended. Ow. It's like Pokemon.
Plus, if you
I
if you
found
get-
diamonds!
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Oh, nice.
do you have an iron pickaxe before you start?
She has a diamond pick.
Okay,
have a
I was gonna
diamond
say
one.
like
Why?
I've
You
made that
scared
mistake
me.
with a stone pickaxe before, and you just break the
Oh,
diamonds.
that sucks. I should have gotten the. We should have the multiplier, but I guess not.
What's a multiplier?
quickly. Or the fortune.
Oh,
pickaxe.
interesting. Well, that'll be handy.
What?
Will it be dandy
Well,
though?
I came through. I said, remember how the beggars can't be choosers thing? The
Yes.
portal I came
Oh,
through was different than the one I went into. So I wasn't expecting. I'm actually. My complaint is nullified. I'm sorry, Griffin. I did you dirty. I didn't understand the genius of what you had done.
Well, I'm going to circle back around. In my opinion, the top answer for what radioactive thing to be bitten by to get its powers would be Peter Parker himself. Some sort of weird inverted, infinite loop of superpowers going on.
And you'd be smart.
Radioactive.
No,
It
it
would
would
be
just
pretty
be
terrifying
like
to be.
diluted.
Yeah,
It would be
I would
pretty
think it would be
terrifying
diluted.
to
Why would it be diluted?
be
Because he
bit
has
by a human, radioactive human.
right, like so you would have the proportional strength of a Peter Parker.
No, of
You'd
a
have the strength of
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. But Spider-Man.
That's not how that works. It's proportional.
I love how choosy Al is with his logic.
Al takes his...
He's like, this is super, like, logical. It makes sense and
no,
everything.
you
and then
can't be
he's like, no,
let's
but
ask
this
this
doesn't
question
make
that
sense.
like makes no sense, but apply logic to it, and then get mad at me for applying logic to it.
No, but you don't. You, like, pick your logic.
It amped
Yes,
up all the spider's
because
powers.
it can't happen. If I pick the real logic, then it would just be like, nope, can't happen. Let's go home.
It amped up all the spider's powers. Like, it was sort of, one spider sort of can sense bugs, so that became his spidey senses and things of that nature. So it would be amped up Spider-Man powers.
Ooh,
So
I
you'd
see.
be like
I
even
see what you did
stronger
there.
than him too, even though
Yeah.
Spider-Man is
Yes.
almost as strong as the
Super
Hulk.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
What if
but
you were
that's
bit
not
by
how that works.
radioactive,
You don't.
like,
You're
Spawn
strong
Spider-Man?
as a spider proportionate to
That's no,
his body
but all
size.
the other spider things are... No, you have spider strength, so you'd have Spider-Man strength.
So I just want to have like I mean, Ant-Man would be pretty decent.
Ow.
Are we talking about physical strength, like how much you can lift? Because that is definitely like
According to which version? I'm thinking of the Tobey Maguire version, which is the version I
they don't
associate
like
with.
say anything in the Tobey Maguire version.
Exactly.
So
Except that they hint at that spider that can sense bugs, and that becomes his spidey sense, his psychicness. So
well, they
clearly
hint
it's
at
spider's
proportional
powers
strength
amped
too.
up.
We're talking about hints. I'll give y'all hints all day long.
Nope.
Not a real thing.
Okay, so now halfway we need a two thing canal.
So
what
if
is
you were
this? Halfway would be...
if you got bit by a radioactive gorilla, would it scale down to your size and you'd just be like slightly stronger than normal
Yeah,
human?
that's because that's the joke, right? Like they do this in it's not in Squirrel Girl, but I think that Ryan North in Dinosaur Comics, who writes Squirrel Girl, talked about like being bit by a radioactive elephant. If you had the proportional strength of an elephant, you would actually be really weak.
You're basing this entirely on this comic guy the dinosaur talking thing.
Yeah, what's your
You
problem
felt,
with that?
you felt he made a good point. I've come across this Albertisms before.
But it's not. It's not as
right,
fun.
yeah, because
Al.
we can't ever have.
But it's
Like
not
everything we
fun.
ever have to have thought has to be thought up by us
the first
originally.
iteration of something that enters Al's head, it just gets lodged in
Is
there like
is
a
the real
calcified idea. Yeah.
Nothing
point
else is
where-
real.
Right, because you
Ooh.
came up with this Reddit thread and you didn't do exactly
Uh-huh.
the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah, but we're
I'm not
like
saying
we're
that,
having
I'm
fun
just
with
saying.
it, not all over it.
It doesn't matter what
Al
it
takes
is
a
or
massive
whether
dump.
you're an expert on it or what. It's really interesting.
I mean, you get bit by a radioactive megalodon. Pretty sure that's how you become Aquaman, though.
Okay, so if we're going with spider strength, spiders aren't strong. If it's not proportional, they're not strong.
What do you mean
I can
they're not
squish them
strong?
easily.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
In what way, Joe?
They
We're
have
not
strong
talking
hearts.
proportional to their body
Strong
size.
of will.
Yeah, and they can see everything. Lots of eyes that are really terrible. Except for the ogre spider, my favorite spider.
The ogre spider?
Yeah, it has pupils. It's the only spider that has pupils because it makes a little net between its claws and launches it at stuff.
Cool.
So,
Oh,
why
I've
have you
seen
stopped
that
the stairs,
before.
Sony?
7, 8,
What's that?
9.
Why are the stairs stopping here? Why don't they continue across more of the block?
I was doing something different for this. I wasn't doing the exact same thing as last time.
I'm just trying to
Don't
like,
throw him off.
It stops at the tunnel. Like it's basically building
Right,
a wall
but
where
why?
the tunnel is. Because I wanted it to.
Okay.
Change. No good. Hell. Can't sleep.
No, I'm just gonna like at this point because of that. Like, there's no point in me continuing working on my stairs because you'll fill it up relatively quickly. I feel so. I'm gonna go over here and do something on the other side.
Well, I'm sorry that I ruined your plans.
4, 5, 6,
No, you didn't ruin my
7,
plan,
8,
but there's just.
If
I'm
I
just
would've
saying I'm
gotten
gonna
a-
move over to the other side because
if-
we're both sort of working on that side now. Because I was like coming in from like the outside area, right?
Right, we need water
If
now.
I would have gotten bitten by a radioactive
I
owl,
don't
I'm
have
sure
a
I would have
bucket. Do you have a
understood.
bucket on you?
No.
I'm gonna go put my diamonds back and grab a bucket then.
Bucket.
Whoa!
Ah! Me first. Yeah.
It's kind of dark out here, and all of a sudden I'm very worried.
Scaly.
How are spiders strong, Joe? You never answered my question.
How are they not?
They're able to lift up
I mean,
What?
far more than their weight. Their web is
I'm sorry.
the
Far more
strongest.
than what?
Than
Their
the,
weight.
In their weight.
Like proportionally?
No,
Yes.
like they can lift a lot.
Compared to like no, they can't. Like I can lift
They
5
can-
pounds,
they can
Joe.
Grab a
Spiders
hold
can't
of an
lift
elephant
5
and lift it
pounds.
up over their head.
I
No, they
guarantee you
can't.
Yes, they can.
that spider that
can.
eats birds could probably lift 5 pounds.
They're strong enough to watch movies without crying.
Yes.
You do have me there. I'm trying to think. What was the last movie I cried during?
Stupid Inside Out.
Do I need? What else are we gonna need?
Iron and some picks.
We're not building anything.
Nope.
Like I don't need
We need
redstone.
water. We need
or
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 waters.
8 waters. Okay.
I have no idea what you guys are doing. Are you making
I
a
need a
portal
bucket.
somewhere?
I don't know either. I'm just along for the
Doing, like
adventure.
the lava style?
There's an infinite pool, I think, at the bottom of the ladder. So
Is it infinite? How do you know? Wow! Ah!
if it's 2 by 2,
Leave me alone!
I'm still trying to wrap my head around Joe's objection to me reading things and thinking like, yeah, that makes sense.
it's not an objection. It's a.
My objection is you made it so that it wasn't a fun conversation.
I
You,
was
you
having
couldn't
fun.
have been like,
Shots
man, if you
fired.
did like a
Leave me alone."
porcupine, maybe you'd be able to like fire that stuff at like random stuff.
Porcupine's a good
I had
one,
my whole
Tony.
thing about Godzilla, which I thought was fun.
You always think Godzilla's fun.
I do like the idea
Leave
of
me
getting
alone,
bitten
leave me
by
alone, leave me
Godzilla
alone.
and some. Oh,
What the heck is a phantom? Oh, I guess they're outside, huh?
yeah, I don't know if they follow you into the
I'm
Nether.
sleeping.
Sleep.
I'm sleeping.
Sleeping. Who's outside? They can hit me in my bed, you bitch.
Is your bed outside? Because I
Is
don't think they
people
can come through the
sleeping?
walls.
Or who's outside in the real? Oh, yay. Okay, we're good. We're good. It's okay.
Is it
Did
day?
you guys turn it back to daytime?
Yes.
All right, I'm coming out then.
Thank you, guys.
Did I lose one of my buckets? Ah, that's a bitch. I just made it. I just made it.
That goes there. All right, I gotta find some iron.
Do you have an
any
answer,
iron?
Tony?
I
I'm
have
so-
iron.
For
You
what
need
I'd want to be
some.
bitten by?
Do you need a bucket?
I don't know. Like I was saying, a
Porcupines
hedgehog
are really
or porcupine
good.
would be kind of fun.
Here, I got you
Duckbill
a
platypus
bucket.
was highly rated in the
That would be
subreddit.
pretty interesting. You'd all of a sudden have like poisonous elbows. It'd be really good for MMA.
Yes.
But I mean, Spider-Man doesn't directly it's not like he grows fangs and like 6 legs or 8 legs. Well, however many
You
legs.
have the power of pointy
No,
elbows.
That is
Komette,
true.
you're making this not a fun conversation. Let Tony have his
I
duck-billed
make
platypus.
every conversation fun. I'm sorry that you don't.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun conversations. I'm not even going to bring up the topic so we don't get back on it. A bonus
I have the
podcast was a little
funnest
hairy.
conversations.
I have no iron left.
I told you I made you a bucket.
Bring me a bucket.
I have
And I'll
buckets
show
for
you a
you.
bucket.
That-
This is more of just a.
I miss the old school memes like the I has a bucket and the dumb stuff from back in the day.
Someone reposted the polar bear putting the bucket on his head, so it looks like his helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I was just but was like, didn't claim it was an original thing, but was very clearly claiming it was like a new thing. And I'm not I'm fine with reposts because if I haven't seen it, it's new to me. But
Yeah.
it was a little. I was a little like, come on, this is the polar bear with the bucket on his head. So he's playing for. We've all seen this like 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's like, welcome to
It's not a
AOL,
new
dude.
thing. Yeah, like, that's ancient.
It's like success. It's like reposting Success Kid. Although, if you did manage to pull that off, you'd have a good reason to post it.
Yes, posted success kid. Yes. All right, I need your bucket.
Oh no, my meat. Oh fuck!
Oh no, my meat.
Your knees?
No, her
I
meat.
threw my meat off my balcony.
Just slapping meat around.
Yeah. Good thing
Wagging that
somebody gave
meat.
me a ton. Okay.
Did we have the Fallout song conversation on? I
don't
can't
think
remember
so.
recorded.
That
Or
might have
we
been on a
haven't.
recording. I was trying to figure that out. Like, that might be part of last Friday that is somehow a blur to me.
Or was it?
I know we've had it several times just in meetings, but yeah, there's
Whacking and whacking and whacking.
the fact that there's first of all, like, we didn't discuss the fact that song has like significant amounts of homophobia in it.
Does it? I didn't hear that.
Although I guess it's
I-
more like it's sort of a Michael Fassbender in Shame homophobia, where it's like he's not gay, he's just like so sex addicted that like he'll take
In
literally
Shame?
anything.
Shame.
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 Oh, I have not seen that.
only
Or
make
I'm
one?
not aware of what that is.
Anyway, we were discussing the fact that there's some weird Fallout
Oh
songs.
my god, there's a bug on my face.
Well,
Oh
apparently
my God.
we're fine to talk about in like the 1950s and 60s. I guess the 60s were pretty, but that was like the late 60s where things were getting buck wild. Like that is not the
Yeah.
Yeah, the early
not
60s
the
were a little
persona
more
that
tame.
Fallout puts forward.
Okay, I have buckets. Are you in the pit?
Yeah, we get an infinity pool though. This isn't an official infinity pool.
How do you get
Sort
an
of
infinity pool?
Infinity Stone?
pool?
How do you
Did
get
you
an
have
infinity
you
pool?
had you seen Infinity Wars yet, Joe?
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix.
I know you were watching it on Netflix. I didn't know if you saw it before then, like in theaters or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen it before then.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joe-
I'm back down in the
Joe,
in the secret area.
Joe was mostly offended because they turned his favorite character dumb.
Yeah, that I hate.
Who?
What's your favorite character?
Guardians of the Galaxy has gone so downhill.
Oh, you
since the
thought that
first
they
one.
like made him like he was too silly with his little.
Too silly, too like ineffectual, and then his stand towards the. Oh
What did you do? How did you blow up?
no! I didn't blow up. A creeper blew up.
Oh.
Also, he didn't die, right? Like, I don't see your death notice.
No,
Nope,
you didn't.
I made it.
I wish there was a curse arrow that turned you like a creeper so that whenever you went next to your friends, you would just explode.
Oh my god, that would be funny.
I love the meme that the creeper is really just excited to see you.
Yeah, it's like that old dachshund that we had that would just pee whenever somebody came to the door.
I have bucket for you.
It was just like dancing,
Whoa!
wagging, pee.
Did you get him that? Did you get that skeleton, Tony?
I haven't done
Bucket.
anything.
Bucket.
I guess he was on fire. No, there was a skeleton here who was just like, I guess he was under the stupid overhang, and he saw me, and he's like, I'll shoot an arrow at you. And as the arrow was flying at me, he just dropped dead.
Oh, it is an infinity pool.
Yes.
Maybe he was on fire and your computer didn't render
Where
it.
are we putting
Speaking
the
of
water
Fallout
in the
76,
middle?
that's something that happens a
At the
lot to me in that
the far
game,
ends of
where mobs are just like,
there.
like
here?
just like they don't
Well,
despawn,
you
they
need
just
two for each.
pop dead.
Yeah, like you were telling me about that. Like one of the grafted monsters just like fell out. No, it was a Mirelurk queen. It just like
It was a
fell over
like
dead.
a level 50 Mirelurk queen. I was walking around in the swamp and I came up on her,
Mario Lurk.
Mario Lurk.
and I was sneaking,
Mario
I
sees
went
you
to sneak
changing
because she
your
hadn't seen me. So I went to sneak and like got sort of away, and the caution
Sneaky
blinked off
mean.
to hidden, and then as soon as that happened, she just died.
She just despawned.
She just no, not despawned, like fell over dead, like she'd been killed.
Did you get two?
So what's your theory for why this is happening? I missed the beginning of this.
Well, I don't know exactly, but it seems to happen when, like, a big boss type character catches sight of you and then loses sight again. Does that make sense in some
Oh, Bethesda. It was such a good concept in a scaled down form.
Now what?
What?
Is that all of them?
Fallout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
76. So yesterday I had the weird experience of like standing in my new kitchen, like that I like own. It's bizarre.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Like I got the final word that everything had closed and that it was good, and they sent me the thing so I could go pick up the keys, and like I just stood there for like an hour in the kitchen just like thinking about it, and it's like it's terrifying.
You are mine.
Hour, huh?
Well, I was like an hour in the kitchen, then I went and did a bunch of stretching in the bedroom and everything, because I only brought like enough to fill the back of my truck. Like I didn't bring like a bunch of crazy stuff that would actually like be useful at the house. I was just like, it's mine, I gotta see it tonight, and I didn't want to like
Did you
pack for a
bring
while.
toilet paper?
They left toilet paper,
Oh, good.
but I did bring an extra roll just in case.
That's
like,
You need
good.
to bring the water in one block.
In one block?
Yeah, it should stop right.
That was something my parents did for me in our first when I first moved into my apartment. I was like all excited, and I had like a bunch of stuff. I didn't like I didn't not have it, but I had it because they brought it to me. I was like, wow, that I just didn't think about that. I'm glad my mom was there.
Yeah, sounds like your
Remi-
mom and dad probably had like a weird experience where they were just like at their first home, and it was traumatizing.
Maybe. They've been adults for a long time, though. They also bought me a washer and dryer that I have to this day. That's an excellent housewarming gift.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wait, when was this?
It's expensive. too.
I've been married for 10 years.
Okay. Not to jinx you, but that's around the lifespan of those things.
Well,
Oh,
you know,
it
fingers
really
crossed.
depends. Like some of those just last and last and last. But like that is a really
What
good
if these
housewarming
were
present. That's what a lot of realtors, if you buy like an expensive house, will get you. Like they got that for my sister and her family. The realtor did as the closing gift.
Oh, what are you doing?
Did you buy, or is it like a lease?
I bought it.
Okay, I don't know
It's
how
I've
like
got a
condos
loan.
work.
I've got a loan.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but so you're putting like equity into it too.
Yes,
so,
yes, that's the main reason why I wouldn't have paid. Like I wouldn't have done this if I wasn't getting equity. I wanted to
Like, even
actually
if
make
things
my
somehow don't work out, it's not like you're. I mean, it's like it puts you in a weird spot, but
yeah, like it means that I can like rent it out. The thing is, it's small, so I keep looking at it as I'm gonna live here for 5 years. Eventually, whenever I have like a family, if I can find anybody that's like worthy of that, like
who is
making a
worthy
trap,
of the
aren't you?
Tony?
yes, who is worthy? Which of you will share?
You're trapping us in? Oh my god.
And like so,
This is our adventure.
This is starting to sound like the cask of the Amontillado over there with Joe and Komette.
Okay, now what?
And so, like,
into
it'll
the
be
whole- although this, can you mine this redstone?
Yeah.
but yeah, like I was in a spot where I was looking at it. I'm like, is this where you're like supposed to cry when things like this happen in your life? Or you like? And I was like, maybe. But then I was like, I only own 1 out of every 5 square feet here because the bank owns the rest, so I can't cry yet. Maybe whenever I get that mortgage paper and it's done.
It's not so much. I didn't
Are we
I didn't
just
cry
waiting
when
for
I
the
moved out.
massacre?
It's just like this weird, like, man, I'm like you're in a new place. That's like your place, but it's not yours yet, really, because you haven't made it yours.
Yeah, I've been,
So there's this cognitive
Is this bedrock?
like break, and you're also in a new place, like not spiritually, that's not the word I'm trying to say, but like
In life.
yeah, in life, right, where you're doing something that you've never done before. So that all that stuff, I don't know that that's the kind of, you might cry about it, but it's more, I get that sort of like, whoa, what is happening?
Yeah.
Kind of like going on inside your head.
But it's not like whenever like my parents left the house that I grew up in and everything, and like losing all the memories that are in a place. Like and I'm not super tied to my current apartment. It's been very good to me, but it's not something
When
where
you
I
say
have
that,
like
you've been like I feel like I'm tied to it. Like as long as I've known you, you've been there. That's where the podcast like started, and
it actually
happened.
that started a little after the podcast. Like the first few episodes were recorded in a different place.
What is down there?
But
my God,
this
what is that?
apartment has allowed me to like do this company and live alone and actually
creepy.
have like, I don't know. It's been good. It's been very good to me. And like I've already got some people that are possibly lined up to take over. The neighbor found out that I was moving, so like there's this big shuffle going on where everybody wants to move from like their smaller
Yeah,
units.
I can set that off sometimes.
Yeah, so I might have already
How do
found
we
a
get back
sublease.
Wait, what happened?
My neighbor is like, I'm gonna talk to the landlord and see if I can take your place. So I got to see his place, and it's like way smaller than mine. I didn't
What?
realize that there were
Really?
smaller ones. However, there is like this incredible tapestry, like painting on the wall in that place. It's like this crazy
Painting of a wall?
on the wall. It's like an entire wall
Ooh, that's
where
cool looking.
the guy that died of an
That's not different from painting your wall.
the guy that died of an asthma attack apparently had painted it, and nobody wants to cover it because it's pretty cool.
Oh.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, there've been a fair amount of deaths here. Someone died of
see.
being shot in my driveway.
What?
What?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that. People get shot?
That was years ago, though.
Some people do. The
That
guy
was,
I worked with at Walmart got shot by the ex-boyfriend of the girl he was dating.
Yeah, Phil Hartman got shot.
He murdered him and like the girl's parents in
That's
like a
messed up.
single spree type right there at their house. That was a bummer.
Man, how do we get out?
I don't know. You're the one that got us into this.
Where's the exit?
I thought this.
Where's the mine?
Have any of you been in a situation where you thought I might be murdered?
I thought this is it. Yeah, it's right here.
You? Tony, every day I think you might be murdered.
I haven't made like that many enemies.
Ugh.
I'm trying to think. No.
My new place might be shadier, but still.
We need some way of marking that. Okay.
I haven't been living fulfilling enough life, I guess.
The walls have to come right to the edge.
Yeah, you're not
Okay.
very risky, Al.
I threw away all of my shit
Why did you throw it all away?
because my inventory got full. So
What about you, Joe? Have you ever been in a situation where you
a
thought
couple
somebody
times
was
here
going
and
to
there,
kill
yes.
you?
You don't spend your summers in Newark, not.
wait, somebody's
some fear
killing
of
you,
murder.
or like you're gonna die?
Good question. Good distinction. I
Yeah,
think.
for the purpose of this conversation, I was thinking of somebody like forcing that on you. But
Wait,
Yeah,
what was the
even
first?
close-
What was the other possibility there? I didn't hear.
You might die. You're gonna die.
like,
Well, yeah, that's
I
how
mean,
murder works,
technically,
right?
somebody almost
Well,
killed me.
we're also talking about like natural disaster, car accident, that sort of stuff.
You could be in situations
Oh.
where you might die that aren't murder,
Oh
Well,
yeah, okay.
which is a whole other question.
I've
guess
had
I've been
somebody
in some
almost
situations where I thought
accidentally
maybe I
kill
could die. Some of the hurricane stuff. I guess it might have crossed my mind temporarily. Although all the buildings I was in were pretty good.
Yeah, like I've been moderately close to some tornado action.
I almost drowned to death.
Oh, drowning's a pretty big one. Yeah, I've been in some rough.
My kid almost
Water.
drowned.
Yeah.
AJ was in like the hotel pool just splashing around and like bouncing around in the water, and all of a sudden he bounced into the deep end, and he was like, whoop, whoop, ah, and I had to get in there
So
and get
scary.
him because
How did
you can't swim.
How did yours go, Komette? How did you almost drown?
Dylan, you know Dylan.
Yeah, dumbass
smartest
Dylan.
person in the world,
Yeah.
right? He and his
That
friends
leads me to
can.
believe he's not, in fact, very smart.
No,
Yeah,
this
no,
dude,
he's
like
not.
the best thing he could
this
have
the
done
ex?
was going to
One
the
of my
army
exes, yeah.
because he is like the definition of grunt, unthinking, unlike reasoning. Just
Yeah.
he's a meat body there for manual labor.
Yeah.
And that's why I had him.
So, yeah, exactly. Him and his friends convinced me to go, kayaking on the Poudre River, and for those who don't know, the Poudre can be, yeah, I know.
It's Cash
Everybody always
the Poudre.
laughs. It's not that
Yeah, it's
funny.
not pooter
Okay.
like as in like vagina.
People see, yeah, everybody always thinks it's funny. Anyway,
It means,
I was just thinking of like as
cache
a
of
funny
gunpowder.
hide the
shortening of
powder.
computer, but okay.
Yeah,
well, you're more interested than most, Al.
yeah. So
Still funny though.
I'm a pooter.
The Poudre River is a large one, and
It's not large. It's just very fast and very rocky.
it can be dangerous. It's very dangerous,
There's
and
some
we
class
grew
5
up.
rapids.
Yeah, we grew up knowing how dangerous it was, and how you don't really with like nature in that way. Lots people die every single
Yeah,
year
every
on this
year
river.
people try to inner tube through these rapids that you would need to be like an expert rafter to get through, and it's so dumb.
People stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just Darwin Awards.
So my boyfriend convinced me to go kayaking, and I was like, "You've done this before, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I totally do it all the time." Right. Oh god, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. So I do said thing with him, and it's an inflatable kayak, which even then I should have been like, no, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Not that
We do
bad.
it
if you got a good one.
anyways. No, I mean, not on this type of river.
Like our
it's
rivers
not...
move way faster and have way more sharp rocks. Like
Yeah.
I mean, there are professional grade. Oh, kayaks. Never mind. I'm thinking. Okay.
No, and this is an
Being raft.
inflatable kayak. It's not like a good one in any way, shape, or form. So we go down once, it's fine, it's great, blah blah blah, and then we go down a second time, and I'm with Dylan, and luckily somebody let me borrow their wetsuit. I didn't have a life vest, which was a very, very bad idea. Also, long
Yeah,
story
that's-
short,
Big problem.
he flips. He doesn't know what he's doing, and so he tries to go one way around a rock, and we end up flipping. And because of the way that rapids work, you can get stuck underneath it, and so it was deep enough that I went headfirst into the water. I hit my head. I broke the top of my foot while I was tumbling, and when I surfaced, I was a good 150 feet in front of Dylan. And I didn't know what had happened. I had hit my head pretty bad, and when you're taught as a kid, the first thing that you do is you put your feet first, and that's when I broke my foot. I was trying to bring my feet in front of me so I could float on my
Better
back.
than your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been a fatal headshot right there.
Yeah, so I brought my feet in front of me, and in doing so, I smacked one of the rocks and broke the top of my foot. And I couldn't figure out how to get out of the rapids. And then finally, Dylan was screaming at me, and I heard him, and
Screaming
I
at
was
you, or
able-
screaming to you, oh my gosh, you're gonna die.
no, screaming at me to get out of the water, to get to swim to the side, because my brain was foggy from.
So he was trying to
Hitting
help.
it.
He wasn't mad at you or something.
No, he was trying to help. He had obviously up, and he knew what he'd done.
Well, I mean, if he's dumb enough to do that, he might have been dumb enough to be like,
Why
are
would you do
in the water?
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually know people like that.
Yeah, I've known some people.
So at
Whoa.
least he has enough
Whoa.
presence of mind to be like,
Right.
What happened?
And then the scariest thing about it is that so I get up. I obviously can't walk on my foot or anything, but we're in the middle
It's a
of
cast.
the thing, and so I had to get back in the boat, and I did not want to do that at all.
Yeah, you're out in the
I
middle
would
of
have
nowhere,
rather have
basically.
walked it, but there was no way for us to get. There's no road or anything that we could have got to or anything, so I had to get back in the boat, and it just I'm pretty sure that in another universe, timeline, whatever, I 100% drowned in the Poudre.
Yeah, I have thoughts like that. It's if there are supposedly infinite universes and all these possibilities change and everything, it's ow, I almost died. It's very much like the story, but there's probably so many times where I've just been driving home and I've gotten hit by a truck filled with acid and just melted.
I don't think any of the actual universes have that. That's your cool superhero origin story.
Well, if you actually melt, you don't become the superhero.
No, you turn into the blob or whatever.
Or Magmar or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Hang on. This worked really great when we weren't here.
I don't know where I am.
Let me read up on this a bit.
I don't know what we're doing. We're stuck. in the hole.
Did you
I'm
guys
guessing
watch
he's
Bird
trying to
Box
make a
yet?
death trap. Not yet.
Nope.
Okay.
We're gonna watch. We're gonna watch it tonight, right?
Yep.
Tony.
Yeah, yesterday, like,
Where's that light
everything
coming from?
conspired against us.
What light?
I don't know. There's a shadow on the wall over there.
It's like gorehounds, like, the neighbors had stuff going on, Jeff was out to lunch, like, all sorts of weird stuff. And it's
It
like,
did not. Everything was against us. It was weird, stupid.
I'm really looking forward to
Weird,
finishing that
stupid.
movie.
All right, hang on.
I think I'm trying to think the closest spots that I've ever been to, like, dying, and that river story reminded me that I almost did that to my sister, because she was inner tubing, and I threw a rope to her, and, like, the rope missed the inner tube, and she just got, like, sucked down river.
The obvious choice for me also, I just realized, was the time when me and my dad got stuck on the river.
Yeah, I remember that
Which was
story.
less say, I'm going to die right now, and, like, I'm going to, like, be lost out here and starve or something.
I was also almost shot in the head. That's cool.
Well, that's more in the spirit of the original question anyway. Why didn't we hear that story? Like on accident, or somebody was pointing a gun at you, like...
No,
legitimately
like
wanting to hurt
somebody accidental discharged 2 feet away from my face. That is like probably one of the most scariest moments of my
You
entire
need to
life.
stop hanging out with stupid people.
Yeah, yeah. You think?
Present company excluded, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell that story too if you want, but I don't have to.
No, I'm good being bummed out for today.
I didn't get to go.
Joe can go.
You want to
Go,
hear it?
Joe.
Come on, Al.
Okay.
Go, Joe.
I don't care if you bum out, Al. Go.
So,
I
this-
didn't get to go. Come on, Joe.
I see what you mean. I thought you meant like you want me to bum him out.
Oh, no. I don't really have that many. I mean, 9/11.
Yeah, you were
Oh, that's
in
a big
New
one.
York for it.
Yeah.
That's a really big one.
I mean, at that point, we just thought all hell was breaking loose. The Bogalata, I've discussed the Bogalata riot, the boxing match where
I don't remember this story.
every time I tell it, you say this.
I know.
Riddick Bowe versus Andrew Galata. There was a couple of low blows from Galata. The Galata fans were... there was a very, very packed section of Galata fans, packed section of Riddick Bowe fans, and they were egging each other on, and the fact that there was dirty fighting in the fight was pissing people off, and eventually the manager actually got into the ring. Other people got into the ring.
It's like a
and then
WWE type fight?
Kind
It
of, except
happens.
it was real, so it wasn't like, wow, the show, like, the guy just ran up with, like, they have walkie-talkies to talk to, like, their bench and stuff, I guess. Not their bench, their...
Corner.
I don't know. Whatever. If the manager had a walkie-talkie, he just ran out and started beating Galata over the head with it, and then people started storming through the stadium, and there was a riot.
That reminds me...
And we were sitting there...
Oh, go ahead.
We were standing there, and it was sort of like it wasn't like the entire Madison Square Garden doesn't just erupt in fighting. Like there's pockets of it in worse places, and the area we were in was pretty okay. And me, my dad, and my brother are kind of looking around, like we're not sure how bad this is gonna get, and like da da da. My dad was actually kind of like really looking around, like it was almost like sightseeing. He was just like, this is really neat. Like kind of.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 13.
Okay.
14? I didn't say that, but I think that was clearly going through his head. But then a folding chair went flying over our heads.
Oh shit.
My dad's like, time to go! And then I definitely had some swimming moments where I've just been like, I'm out too far, or like, this is not going well. This could go horribly wrong.
The
You do a
folding
lot
chair
more
detail
ocean.
like shook it loose for me as far as that story.
Yeah,
but
that's what I remember too. As soon as he was like, "Oh yeah, folding chair,"
I went up there. There's nothing up there.
I think it's because I'm not
Maybe we
that
should
familiar
leave
with
and
those
come back.
boxers.
Yeah.
Not too long ago at was it Madison Square Garden? It might have been. I was wherever Khabib Nurmagomedov fought Conor McGregor. Like after that fight,
yeah.
the corner went over and just like sucker punched McGregor, even though he lost. And like Khabib jumped into the crowd and started
saw that.
started swinging at people and causing all sorts
was
of
like a-
problems.
A month or two ago?
Yeah, I want to say that was November 7th or something
you're
like
making
that.
again. You're making just like every fight sound like the WWE or just like
Well, you have to.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, yes, the things, when you say them, how they happened, it sounds WWE, but watching it happen, it's very clear how much showmanship they put into the WWE to be like, for the, like...
because it actually
doesn't look
isn't
like that
that
at
cool
all.
looking. It's just like
Yeah, it's really not sweet looking, and it's just sort of like really ugly, and like people trip and stumble over things trying to, get around to sucker punch someone, and it's not like
They're like slapping their
smooth
knee a
and
bunch
slick.
and like to make it sound like they actually need somebody.
Well, that's the WWE.
Yeah.
In real life, people in WWE they don't trip like scrambling after someone, or like they don't get stunned when they get hit in the head. Outside of like Super Shomani, but like someone gets hit in the head and then like seriously starts to wobble, and then it's just like not cool looking. Real life violence, it's not as cool looking.
Well, MMA violence is pretty cool, but like real life violence is so sloppy.
It's like real
Yeah.
life
So
again, you have
bombs,
those-
right? Like an actual military bomb looks nowhere near as cool as a Hollywood explosion.
They
It's
do
just
that
like
in,
pop.
Always Sunny. They set off a grenade and does that. It's like poof. And they're like, is that what grenades do? I didn't. I thought it'd be like a fireball. All right.
A friend of mine was telling me about that, about how like during his training, the first time he got to throw a grenade was one of the most disappointing experiences in his life. It's just like that's
That
it.
must be,
Also,
yeah, because people like have experienced some kind of weird, heightened reality of grenade throwing pretty like for a while now in our culture with video games.
Yeah, I would
so
say
we
video
have-
games are more about it than than movies. Like as
I'm
far
thinking what Fallout grenades are pretty.
yeah, it's like a puff of black smoke and like some stuff falls
Yeah.
over, so it's a little more accurate.
Why have we failed to commit?
And also like
Did you go
we're
back
used
down
to
there?
throwing Molotovs and stuff, which are very fun to throw and very cool to watch.
Yeah, well, that is. I mean, gasoline. I think just any time it does anything is pretty awesome.
Like if you want to see some really cool stuff, watch rednecks throwing Molotov cocktails in the air and shooting them with shotguns.
I would see that show. I would watch
That
that.
is it's a very
Is that on Fox?
no, it's on
It's
YouTube.
right after they hunt Bigfoot.
Rednecks Attack.
Redneck mauling 76 with shotguns.
We're at time.
Thank you guys for watching. If you like this, don't forget to click on the like button on YouTube. You can go over to Patreon and become a patron. For as little as $2 a month, you will get these a whole week earlier than everybody else, and also get access to like the bonus podcast, which is just us sort of shooting the bull for a while, and you get like cool postcards and pins. You should really check it out if you like our products, and we will see you guys next week with another one.
Join
Take
the
care, y'all.
Discord. Bye.
Bye.
Remember, if you like what you've been watching, you can become a member over at Patreon right now. The link is right in your face, and you will get all kinds of cool stuff.